Live from the RE/MAX International Stadium, it's the RE/MAX Coaching Hall of Fame with Dream Team coaches Howard Brinton, Brian Buffini, and Richard Robbins. Tonight's starting coach will be Richard Robbins.
Everyone, I'm Margaret Kelly, and welcome to the RE/MAX Coaching Hall of Fame, and I'm your host. We have a wonderful program for you tonight. We're coming to you from the state-of-the-art studios at the Comcast Digital Media Center, just south of Denver, Colorado. Now, we have an excited audience here, right, guys? It's filled with RE/MAX associates here in the studio this evening, and they are here to learn from tonight's very special RE/MAX Coaching Hall of Fame guest, Richard Robbins. Now, Richard will be joining us this evening to discuss the art of listing property. He has several materials available for you to download for those of you watching this program at home. Now, to print these out for your own use, just go to RE/MAX Main Street and follow the Coaching Hall of Fame links to the Richard Robbins download materials. But now it's time to get on with our show. Richard Robbins is one of the most dynamic and sought-after coaches to business leaders across North America. A proven successful salesperson with over 14 years' experience, Richard is an expert at communicating profound messages in ways that make complex topics understandable, memorable, and immediately usable. Richard's message is designed not only to empower, enlighten, and entertain, but most importantly, he provides his audiences tools necessary to accelerate productivity and achieve extraordinary success while controlling your time, balancing your life, and increasing your overall health and happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly honored to present to you this evening, Mr. Richard Robbins.
Thank you so much, Margaret. I was standing backstage listening to that introduction, and all I could think to myself, I wish my mother was here to hear that. She'd be so proud of me. She'd go, wow, son, I had no idea. Anyway, how y'all doing tonight? Great. Great. We have an exciting program tonight. We're going to spend the next 90 minutes improving, I'm hoping, the way you run your business, but more importantly, the way you maybe operate your life. What I'd like to do is I want to focus a lot tonight on how we can improve the quality of maybe your personal life. And let me explain what I mean by that. I hear some people talk about, you know, I got a professional life and I got a personal life. Well, I'm not so sure we got a professional life and we got a personal life. What we have is what I call a life. How many people would agree with that? Yes. And what I know as well is, generally speaking, if one area of our life is maybe negatively affected by something happening, would you also agree it tends to affect the other area of our life as well? The challenge I see with so many of the people I'm working with today, and I have the good fortune of coaching hundreds and hundreds of agents on a yearly basis, and it's really exciting for me to get to know that. But the challenge that I see happening today is the business is changing. And with the changes that are taking place in the business, sometimes we're having trouble adjusting to the changes, and what we tend to do is try to do more of what we've already done. Would you agree with that? Well, if we continue to do more of what we've already done and we're not getting the results as we used to get, well, we're going to start to work what? More. We're going to start to put in more hours than we were before. Now, I'm not saying that's happening to everybody, but I'm suggesting it might be happening to some people. Here's what we're going to do tonight. This is what the night is going to look like. I'm going to spend about 5, maybe 10 minutes or so, and I'm going to talk about what I believe is the value in becoming better at listing property, why we need to focus on it, how it can help our business, how it can help, obviously, our personal life and give us more control of our time. But I think after I've done that, it's even more exciting. And what I mean by that is we have 3 real estate RE/MAX agents here with us tonight that are going to do some live role-playing for you, because it's one thing for me to stand here and tell you how to do it. But it's a whole other thing for you to see somebody else that's doing it every single day. And what they're going to do is this. They're going to do a live role play in terms of qualifying the listing appointment. So they're going to make a call, I should say, to the sellers and qualify them the day before they're supposed to go on the appointment, obviously to talk about motivation. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to have a live listing appointment, a live listing presentation that's going to be done. It'll take maybe 20 or 25 minutes or so, but you're going to see somebody actually take it from the start when they arrive at the home right through to getting the listing agreement authorized or the listing agreement signed. How many people think that will be a little bit of fun tonight? Would you all agree? So that is what we're going to do. After we have done that, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about theory. Now here's why I want to do that, because you're going to see some things or hear some things in maybe the role plays that you're going to go, why are they doing that? That makes no sense to me. I wouldn't want to do that. Well, what I want to do is come back and try to explain to you why each person did what they did, so I can hopefully bring some value to the idea that what you'll do is you'll take it out and you'll use it, and you'll take it out and execute it. We're going to have about a 10-minute break, and then when we come back, we're going to take questions and answers from the audience. We're going to take questions and answers from all the great people that are watching us right now, whether they want to call in or whether you want to send us an email. So for the people that are watching right now by satellite, I want to ask you to go ahead, and if you would download this workbook. The reason I want to ask you to download it is this. In this workbook, not only has everything that I'm going to say, well, not quite everything I'm going to say, but what it also has is that all of the scripts you're going to hear the role play use. So we got a qualifying script in here. We got a listing presentation script in here. We got objection handling scripts. You can download all of these and actually use them yourself. You're going to meet Leslie Benzik in just a minute, but he is the one that has provided me with these scripts. So he has given us permission to go ahead and print them so that you can go ahead and use them. So I think that's a great advantage. So please take advantage of that. Go ahead and download it. So let's go ahead and start. Let's open up to the first page of the workbook for everybody here in the audience. I want to talk about why we need to be becoming better at listing property. And the first point says this. It says almost everything in real estate comes from listing property. You think about it. Sign calls come. Ad calls. Name recognition comes from listing property, both personal and corporate name recognition. Think about this. You're out working with a buyer. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't work with buyers. Please don't take it this way. But what I'm saying is we want to focus on the listing side because it drives the whole business. How many people here have ever heard that you should list to last? Well, we've heard that time and time and time again. And you know, it is true that old agents don't die. They just become listless. But think about it. If you're showing property and you're out with a buyer, what name recognition are you getting? The card you're leaving on the seller's table that's listed with somebody else. But on that, nobody else knows that you're out there. But if you've got a listing, you've got a sign in the front lawn, you could be advertising it, you could have it on the internet, all kinds of ways that now what you're doing is you're branding your name. You're also branding RE/MAX's name, which they've done a very good job of. The second point says this. When working with buyers, what you're doing is you're exchanging time for money. See, working with buyers is a straight exchange of time for money. So in other words, you know, Joe, you got to take your time, and you got to go out there and show the property yourself, and how you get paid is by using your time. But when you're working with listings, you're not exchanging time for money. You're exchanging value for money. What I mean by that is you go get a listing, you can actually be sitting home at night having dinner with your family, and guess what? Somebody else is showing it. They're helping you achieve your objectives, and they're trying to achieve their objectives. So it's an exchange of value for money rather than time for money. Next point says this. Good time management can only be achieved in real estate when you focus on the listing side of the business. Now, how many people here would like to have more nights off? Just raise your hands if you would. Sure you would. We all would. How many people here would like to have more weekends off? Wouldn't that be fun? How many people here would like to have a whole day off and never return a call, never return a page, and go to work the next day and feel rested? Wouldn't that be exciting? Can you do that working with buyers nonstop? Can't be done. Because generally speaking, you're going to have to work nights and weekends. So what we need to do is understand that really good time management can only be achieved by focusing on the listing side of the business. The top of the next page, it says this. It says, according to studies, the average sales professional will spend 32 hours from the time they meet a buyer to the time they finish working with a buyer. According to the same study, we only spend about 8 hours working with a seller. We spend 1/4 of the amount of time. And if we're negotiating commission properly, we get paid exactly the same amount of money. So again, the whole key here is we want to become more productive. Now, what is more productive? It's making more money in less what? Time. And the only way we can do that is analyze our daily activities and say, you know, where am I spending 32 hours where I could spend 8 hours and get the same result? Key thought. Next point says this: when you have control of the listing inventory, the rest of the real estate agents are working for you. Isn't that cool? Imagine this. Imagine you go get a bunch of listings. You got 10, 12 listings. You know, you decide to take Saturday off, you know, take your son, take your daughter to hockey, go sort of hang out. And you got how many thousands of agents helping you trying to get your listing sold? Well, working with buyers, that doesn't work, does it? No, it's an exchange of time for money. Number 6, when you have a listing sign, you have a contract signed giving you the exclusive right to a commission upon the sale. Is that a fact with buyers? Not all the time. Yes, if we get a contract signed, it can be. But even if we have a contract signed and they go buy it for sale by owners, it's still challenging to get our money. But man, if you got a listing, there's a direction on the listing that when that house closes, guess what the solicitor does? They forward a commission check to your office. It doesn't get any better than that. And then let's go to the next point, which I'm going to read. The last one I'm going to read at the bottom. It says, the long-term success of your business will be in direct correlation to how successful you are at listing property. And your success at listing property will be a direct correlation to the confidence you have in the ability to perform the listing presentation. Now, let me explain what I mean there. What happens sometimes is we want to go out and we want to get more listings. And I remember I was there very early in my career. I wanted to focus on the listing side of the business. But do you know why I didn't? Because I was afraid. I was actually afraid of going on a listing presentation because what if they said something I didn't have an answer to? You know, what if they wanted me to cut my commission and I'm not quite sure how to handle that because I can't demonstrate my value, which we're going to help you with tonight? What if I get there and they say I only want to list for 30 or 60 days and I want to get a longer term contract? What if they say to me, you want to know something? I want to list at $229 and I know it's only worth $199 and I wouldn't know quite what to say? What if I get there and I don't like them? Wouldn't you all agree? How many people here have ever walked out of a listing and you said to yourself, why did I take it? I don't like the house. I don't like the people. I don't like the driveway, the garage. There's nothing about it I like, and you're walking away with a listing. And the ones you want, you can't get. Wouldn't you all agree? But see, what happens sometimes is we want to become better at listing property, but sometimes we won't let go of the buyers. And the reason we don't want to let go of the buyers is because what would our buyers say, in other words? And the other reason we don't is because we don't feel we have the skill to do it. And that's what tonight is about more than anything else, because you know everything I just said was true. And I probably didn't tell you that much. Maybe you didn't already hear before. But here's what we need to do. We need to understand that when we work on our skill, when we become good at qualifying buyers, when we become good at the listing presentation, when we become good at handling objections, we will start looking for listing appointments. But when we're afraid sometimes as to what it is they might say, sometimes we see a listing appointment, but we don't close the appointment the way we should because we really don't want it. How many people can relate to what I'm saying here a little bit? See, what is it? It's a subliminal message going on in our head. It's not even a conscious thing that's happening. But when our skill set starts to get better, you watch how many more appointments you'll start to set in terms of getting a listing. So here's what I want to do. We are going to now have a role play. And what I want to do is set the stage to help you understand what's going to happen. Is we are now going to role play with a real estate sales professional that has flown in here to be with us today. And he's going to phone a potential seller that he has an appointment with tomorrow. And what he's going to do is he's going to qualify this person. He's going to ask a series of questions. And after he's done that, I'll come back and explain to you why he did what he did. And then once he's done that, then we're going to move right into the listing presentation. So I want everybody to pay attention and take some notes maybe based on what you heard that you said, that was a good idea, I need to start doing that. But understand, if you decide you want to follow along with us, you do have the script in there because Leslie has written out the script. And he's given it to us. We have formatted it. They can download it, obviously, on the RE/MAX website, and you have it all here. So first of all, I want to say thank you, Mr. Benzik, for being with us here.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
He looks pretty good up there, doesn't he? Hey? Anyway, Les, tell us where you're from, how long you've been in real estate.
Okay, I'm from the Toronto area, so I work at RE/MAX All-Stars Realty in Toronto, and I've been in real estate now 14 years.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay, excellent. And I remember we were talking earlier that you've been in real estate basically your whole career.
My whole career.
You got right out of school. You're in our master's coaching program, and by the way, all three people that you're going to see are in our master's coaching program, so I know these people very, very well. How long have we been working together?
Probably about 6 years now, right?
Well, it's 6 years. Yeah. And when we started working together, and you know, I hate talking money, but it's the only way of qualifying really in real estate. What do we go to work for? We go to work to make what? Money. So everybody says, well, you know, my volume's this, my volume's that, but the whole volume calculation, some people get, you know, 200,000 volume when they sell half a house. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always really accurate. How much money were you making when we first met?
120.
120?
Right.
And roughly what did you make last year?
600.
600,000. Would you go, that's a pretty good increase, wouldn't you say, in a 5-year period, okay? And just, you know, he's single, okay? Well, that's funny. Now, Les, what I want to do is, what I want to help people understand is where you were and where you are now, because you weren't always good at listing property. Fair statement?
Very good statement, yeah.
About 3 years ago, what percentage of the listing appointments you went on were you listing?
I was getting 38%.
Okay, and do you want to tell everybody about a conversation that you and I had in January about 3 years ago?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Essentially, I was going on a lot of listing appointments. I would say about 100 a year, maybe 90, and I was getting roughly 38, 39 listings from those appointments. And essentially, Rich said, what the heck are you doing? What are you doing to these people? Why aren't you getting more listings? And so I said, well, I don't know. And so essentially, you know, we looked at everything I was doing, and the bottom line was I was telling them what I would do for them, in essence, marketing, what I'm going to do to sell their home. And essentially, what we've done is we've turned that around to focus on the results I've been able to get my clients. And so we've done a 360-degree turn on what I present.
Yeah. What we did with Les's presentation, well, he already had his presentation. Like the presentation you're looking at is the presentation he already had. The only thing we changed in his presentation was he used to talk about his marketing. We took it from talking about what are you going to do to get their home sold to what have you already done for others. That's the only thing we changed, and you'll see that as he goes through his presentation, and I'll explain it more. Here's what I want you to do, Les. I'd like you to do a pre-qualification at this point and help the audience, obviously, and the viewers understand what it is you do before you leave on an appointment. But let me set it up. When is your listing appointment?
It's tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
Okay, so you're in your office, and it's the day before, and you're sort of preparing for the appointment,
Correct.
and you're going to phone, and you're going to pre-qualify, make sure it's still on, correct?
That's correct.
All yours, baby. Take it away.
Okay.
Hello,
Hi, can I speak to Christy?
this is?
Hi, Christy. It's Leslie Benzik from RE/MAX. How are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Christy, I just wanted to give you a quick call to confirm our appointment tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Does that time still work for you?
Yes, Ryan and I, that works well for both of us, thank you.
Excellent. Well, Christy, just to be better prepared for our appointment and ask you the right questions, make sure that our objectives are in line, I want to go through a few things. Is that okay?
Sure, that would be fine.
Terrific. Now, when we meet tomorrow, if what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident that I can sell your home, is there any reason why we can't get started?
Well, we won't be listing with you tomorrow evening because, to be honest with you, Leslie, we are interviewing 2 other agents. So we want to hear what all 3 agents have to say before we make a decision.
Okay, well, that's fair enough, Christy. Can I ask you, when are you meeting with the other agents?
I have one this evening at 5 and one after you at 5:30, I do believe, tomorrow evening.
Okay, so one this evening and one tomorrow at 5:30, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, that's fine. Now, here's what I'd like to do. Because what I do is so very different than other agents, I'd like to take the opportunity to meet with you last. Can I tell you why?
Oh, sure, please do.
See, Christy, it's important that you see what the other agents are doing first. That way you'll be better able to compare what we do differently so you can make more of an informed decision. Does that sound fair enough?
Yeah, so you're saying that you work differently than most realtors?
You bet we do. We work actually quite a bit differently. Now, would it be okay to reschedule tomorrow night after your appointment, say 6:30, or would 7 be better?
Let's shoot for 7 o'clock. That would probably give us enough time with the other realtor.
Okay, that's great. I look forward to seeing you then at 7 o'clock. Now, just to continue on, when your home sells, where will you be moving to?
Oh, Ryan and I will be moving to the Colorado Springs area.
Okay, so Colorado Springs, that sounds very exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited about it.
Okay, that's great. And when did you want to be there by?
We're hoping to be there by mid-May. That would be perfect for us.
Okay, so mid-May, not a problem. Now, Christy, I'm going to prepare a comparative market analysis just to help you better understand what homes similar to yours are selling for in the area. And I'm just kind of curious, how much did you want to get for your home?
Oh, wow. No one's asked us that. We have no idea. We're going to leave that up to you. You're the realtor, and, you know, we just have no clue.
Okay, well, that's not a problem, and I appreciate your confidence in me. Now, there's been a few homes that have sold on your street and in the neighborhood. Are you familiar with what they went for?
Yeah, I think a couple of homes down our street sold maybe in the 270, 280 range, but again, I'd like to hear what you have to say. You know, you're the realtor, and we just don't have a clue.
Okay, so 270, 280 range, fair enough. Now, just out of curiosity, is that something you might consider for your home?
I think that would be in range, but again, I'll leave that up to you.
Okay, perfect, not a problem. Now, in terms of a mortgage, how much do you owe on the property?
We owe, I think, about $120, and I can confirm that with Ryan when you come over tomorrow evening.
Excellent, not a problem. And I'm going to send you over a package of information. Can you just take a few moments and go through it?
Sure, we definitely will do that.
Okay, that's great. And you know what? This is never an easy question to answer. However, I'm just kind of curious. What are you looking for in a real estate agent?
Wow, no one's asked us that before. I never really thought about it. I guess we'd be looking for someone that can get the job done, that has proven results. And now that I think about it, you know, the last time we sold a house and listed it, our realtor, we never heard from her. So I would think that that's going to be pretty important to Ryan and I, that we hear from our agent once we're listed.
Okay, excellent. So you want someone to keep in touch with you, obviously, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And the bottom line is you want someone who can deliver the results, correct?
Right.
Okay, terrific. And I've made a note of that. Now, do you have any questions or concerns before I come over?
The only one I can think of right now, Leslie, would be what commission rate do you charge?
Okay, well, not a problem, and I'm glad you brought that up, Christy. Ultimately, would it be fair to say that you're not as concerned about the real estate fees as you might be about what you're going to net in your pocket at the end of the day?
Right, the bottom line to Ryan and I, that's correct. That's really important to us.
Sure, obviously it is. Now, why don't we do this? When I'm at your home, what I'd like to do is sit down with a scratch pad, a pen, a calculator, and what we're going to do is we're going to figure out all the costs involved in a move. That way you're going to know how much money you've got to work with at the end of the day. Does that sound fair enough?
Oh, that sounds fair enough, but yeah, as long as you don't forget to go over that.
Oh, don't worry, I won't. Now, I assume that you and Ryan will be present for our appointment tomorrow night?
Yes, we both will be there.
Okay, excellent. Well, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 7 o'clock then.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you.
We'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Great job.
Thank you.
I can see why you're closing more than 38%. Now, I want to ask this question. What percentage are you closing now?
79.
79. So we went to 38 to 79. But specifically, what are some of the strategies or the tactics that you implemented to get to that point?
Well, number one, pre-qualifying all appointments. Not just, partially, full pre-qualification, asking
Right.
all the tough questions and obviously the easy questions. And number two, practicing the listing presentation and putting together a really solid listing presentation. And I can tell you, I probably practiced my listing presentation when I first started half an hour every morning and half an hour every afternoon with different realtors who are in our coaching program.
Now, in your first year, when you went from 38%, in a 12-month period, did you go to like almost 80, or where were you at the end of 1 year?
First year I went to 59%, and then the year thereafter I believe it went to about 70%.
Great.
And then it progressed upwards to where we are right now.
Yeah, great job, Les.
Yeah,
okay, what we're going to do is we're going to move on now. What I want to do is I want to talk to you a little bit about what he just did. But I want you to understand something that I think is really important. He said that he's closing almost 80% of his listings, the listing appointments that he goes on. And I know there's some people maybe sitting in the audience, maybe many people on TV, they're going, yeah, but I'm getting 90%. I'm getting 95%. I'm getting 100%. Well, I'm going to suggest this, and I say this, of course, respectfully, is that if you're getting 100% of the listings, you're only going on the ones you know you're going to get. You're probably only going to see your past clients. One thing just to keep in mind, I'm just trying to qualify it, is Les goes on a lot of presentations that are cold presentations because he does a lot of marketing and prospecting where they don't know who he is, and he's quite often in competition against other agents. So when you're in competition on a regular basis, at least based on the standards we have in our organization, we find that if you can close 80% of the listing appointments, if you can convert 80% of your appointments to listings, that is outstanding if you want a lot of cold presentations. Now, what did Les do? He discovered the purpose of the appointment, and that's the key. What sometimes happens, and I do remember myself being in some appointments, I would get there. And what I would start doing was I would start my listing presentation. I start finding out where they're moving and all this sort of stuff. And guess what I discovered? They didn't even care if they sold. Not right now. You know what they wanted? A what? A price. All they wanted was a price, and I had no idea. So I just did this whole listing presentation. Now, I finished my listing presentation. I leave the house. They're waiting to see about a transform. Maybe they're thinking of building a house, want to know what their home is worth. We've all been there before. And I go home, and then what happens is they don't do anything for 4, 5, or 6 weeks, and I try to follow up like we all do, but they end up listing with somebody else. Anybody ever had that happen before? Why does that happen? Here's why it happens. Generally speaking, it happens because they have no reason to ever have you back again, do they? Because you gave them a price and you did a listing presentation. The listing process is like a double-barrel shotgun. Here's the way I want you to think about it. The first ammunition you have in your gun is the price. The second is a presentation. He has found out he's on a listing presentation. But if it was just a price, could he still go in 15 minutes and do a price? And the answer is yes. But here's how he would handle that one. When he got there, he'd say, you know, I'm so excited to be here, obviously, to help you achieve what your value of your home is. What I'd like to do is take a few minutes and go through the house. The only thing I do want to ask of you in return, I hope this is okay, if you should decide to put your home in the market, because I know you haven't decided if you're going to do that yet, would you allow me to come back at that time and share some ideas on how I can help you get your home sold? What will they say every single time? Sure we will, absolutely. So do you see, I've set myself up to win because I only shot one barrel of my double-barrel shotgun. I still got a reason to go back. Because all that happens, it's not that they didn't like you. It's got nothing to do with that. It's that the agent they remember is the most recent one they talked to. Would you agree? So you were there 6 weeks ago. In the meantime, they're talking real estate to everybody. Agents are coming out of the woodwork, which you know an agent can smell a prospect, right? They're coming out of the woodwork, and they're talking to all these agents, and they just forget you. It wasn't that you weren't great. It was that you had no reason to go back. There was no commitment between you and them. That's the reason to qualify. Discover the purpose of the appointment.